Alright, back again with more Monster Hunter World, and now we're going to handle the Kestodon Kerfuffle. So, in this mission, it's going to expand, and we're going to end up hunting a Jagras as well, but it's very important in this mission that you prioritize carving the Kestodons, because once you come back from the mission, you'll be able to craft a nice piece of armor, but only as long as you actually carve from the Kestodons. So this is something I should have covered in the previous episode. Whenever you select to start a mission, you have the option of making it multiplayer or not. You can set a passcode so that only your friends can join. Typically, I play solo. And this game is playable solo. I think except for one mission in the Gathering Hub, or the Celestial Pursuit, except for one's rotating mission, I believe everything in the game is you can do solo if you want. It makes it more difficult. Having other people there to help pull aggro and stuff makes it easier, but it's very easy to do solo. Or it's easy to do solo. Or I'm sorry, it's not easy. It is possible to do solo. So put in your settings, hit finish. Now from here you get lucky vouchers, and it's something I meant to show off earlier, and I accidentally hit the button when I wasn't recording. I was putting the controller down and I dropped it, and when I caught it, I hit triangle and accepted it. But each day you can accept lucky vouchers. Lucky vouchers increase your money rewards in the mission. Typically, you want to save them for event missions and investigations. You don't want to use them for story missions. Story missions don't give you good rewards, or don't give you the best rewards, so you want to save it for those. You get, if you actually log in every single day, and the login's only at a certain time. I'm on East Coast, so I believe it's somewhere around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. is when it resets, and I can accept them again. You can only accept, or I'm sorry, you can only hold 5. So if you're saving them for investigations and you start getting up to 5 and you can log in again, go ahead and burn a couple so you can log in and get more. But you don't have to log in every single day to get them. It's just if you log in, you get them. So like if later on tonight I'll be able to get another one, but if I don't play tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday, when I come back and I log in, I'll only have 2. But if I accept the lucky vouchers, I'll get the 3 I got, or I'll get the 3 from the days I didn't play. You do not have to log in every single day. During seasonal events, sometimes you'll get bonus vouchers, sometimes you get 2 a day, sometimes, rarely, you'll get 3 a day. Also, whenever you accept the login bonus, they'll also give you items. Sometimes it's nothing great. Sometimes it'll be like it's a potion. Sometimes it's a mega potion or an ancient life or a trap tool. It just varies. And you'll also get like seasonal tickets that you can use to craft seasonal items. I briefly covered those in, or I covered those in the forging and upgrading episode. But like I said, we're not going to use a voucher. Just hit accept. Once you unlock more camps, you can also select what camp you want to start at. Right now we only have 1 camp, so that's all we're going to do. And then this is kind of the loop. There's not much we can do at this point, but once you accept a mission, you come over, you manage your items. I don't really have items to manage, but I'm going to select my loadout. And I will cover loadouts more in depth later because they are very finicky, but they are very useful as well. But you want to select or you want to handle your item loadout, come over to the canteen, and then you want to eat. I covered meals in another episode, so I'm not going to go over that here. Just go for attack up small, order this, and you get a cutscene. Voila. Eating like Goku. And now we are ready to depart.
Okay, our job is to cull a certain number of Kestodon. Recently, their numbers have been getting out of hand.
Want to get going?
Alright, so remember when you first load into the mission, check the supply box, get you some free stuff, and work on increasing my stamina. Now, in the very first mission I did, I was able to eat 2 of these to max out my stamina. Now I only needed to eat 1 to max it out, and that was because of the meal. So, like I said, it's very important to eat the meal. It'll help you save resources and help give you bigger benefits. So here's the Kestodon. These ones over here.
There we are. Those,
Why
my
aren't
friend,
you-
are Kestodon. Let's see you take them out on your own.
Oops, I wasn't actually ready to store it. Oh well.
Be careful.
Now, as you can see, as I'm attacking these enemies, all my numbers are different colors. And that one was orange. Those ones are orange too. Here, here you see that now they're white. As you fight monsters, they have different weak zones. So you want to aim for the numbers where you get the orange numbers, because that's where you're going to deal the most damage. If you're only doing white damage, you need to change what part of the monster you're attacking. I think if you do white damage, you're also burn through your sharpness faster.
The Kestodon are the least of your worries.
And sometimes,
There are a lot bigger monsters
for some of the
lurking in this
monsters,
forest.
there's just not much you can
The
do
endemic
about it.
life around here can come in
They
handy during
have
the hunt.
tough
Learn
armor,
as
tough
much as you can
skin,
about
and you gotta weaken it and break through before you can start dealing any real damage. For some of them, once you break through the armor and skin, they actually you actually start dealing less damage to that part once you do. So you need to keep an eye on those numbers, and you can see there was a huge difference in my damage. It went from most of my hits being in the 20 to being down at like 4 or 5. So it makes a huge difference.
Over here.
And of course, after every encounter, make sure you sharpen your weapon. Later on, you'll get skills and items where you get bonuses for sharpening your weapon. So when you sharpen it, will change, but you want to sharpen
Be careful.
before or after every encounter. As always, when you're going through, keep an eye out for resources. You need to always be gathering resources, mining outcrops, bone piles, mushrooms, bugs, plants, everything. That was a bit overkill, but oh, he got me. And I just tried to use my wire bug from Monster Hunter World.
Good work. That just about wrapped up our work here.
Alright, so now quickly gather up these guys.
Hey,
I
come
think
here.
you get enough time to
I think I
gather
found
them,
something.
but you want to make sure you do it quickly. Because he's telling you to come here because he found something. If you take too long, the game just pulls you up there. And these guys will disappear before that cutscene ends, so you want to gather them quick. And then hopefully we got enough items.
Over here.
It didn't even let me get that item I just gathered.
Here. Look at those Kestodon. Something's up with them.
Excuse me. The Great Jagras.
Now.
Punching. I really like him. Like, I think he's really cool. So from
Alright,
this
partner.
point,
New assignment incoming.
Oh,
Take
God,
down
quiet.
that Great Jagras. If you're not ready, you can return to base and take on the Great Jagras quest later.
Want to get going?
So yeah, like you said, if you're not ready, if you want to, you can go back to camp.
If you need to call your friends for help, go to the menu and select SOS Slayer to
sucks.
signal it. And you're going to need friends when you go up against some of the tougher monsters. In order for the scout flies to better track a target monster, we need to keep finding traces of it. Like footprints, for example.
Alright, so yeah, like she said, if you want, you can go back to camp or back to headquarters, and you can accept a different mission. I forget what it's called, but you can do that now. Or you can just stay out here and just straight hunt the Jagras, which is what I'm going to do. The Jagras is not a hard creature. You don't, if you've already ate for this mission, you don't need to go back to camp to eat again to hunt this Jagras down. So, what is that? Oh, it's just a bone pile. I thought, or I'm sorry, it was a rock pile. I thought it was something else. Now, I'm going to point out a couple things as I go along, because we're finally starting to get into the game, access to more resources and stuff. Is that the field team leader? Oh, yeah, it is. So I'm going to point out a couple things and explain what they do as I'm hunting down this Jagras. The Wiggly Lichy is something you want to look out for. It gives you a boost to your stamina consumption. So doing things like dodging, sprinting, they all take much less stamina. It's very useful, very helpful for getting around or to eat just before you get into a fight. Over here's a blue mushroom. Those are really, really important. They're used in several different recipes for crafting different things. One of the more important ones is herbal medicine and antidotes. But yeah, you need a lot of blue mushrooms. So when it comes to tracking, you can see this huge mark on the ground that's highlighted green. My scout flies are flying around. And I can walk over and hit circle to gather it. This is one of the primary ways you're going to increase your research level with monsters. So you can see I got 10 points, and there's a little mark, a meter on the right side of the screen with those 3 triangles. You want to max that out, and it takes a while to max it out. Or I'm sorry, you want to max that out, because once you max that out, it'll go from highlighting tracks to leading you to the next track. And then after that, once you level it up again, it'll go from leading to the next track to leading you to the monster. And then it'll go from leading you to the monster to leading you to where the monster's going. It'll start showing where they're at on the map and stuff like that. Because right now, if I look on my map, I have no idea where the Gate Jagras is at. All I have down here is some monster with question marks. That's the Great Jagras. Ooh, that resource node. If you ever look at your map and you see a flash of green on a resource node, I believe that it means that resource node just respawned. So let's check out that mining outcrop. Yep, it respawned. Ooh, Marshlight ore. We needed that for the next tier on something. I can't remember what. But anyways, it's very, very, very important to gather up those footprints and stuff. You want to get your research level as high as possible. The other reason is you want to get your investigation level really high, or your research level very high, because the higher your research level is, you'll have more access to investigations. I see my scout fly has actually told me to go down back there, but we're not in that big of a hurry. We're just going to wander. There is a time limit for these missions. If you look up at the top left of the screen where my health and stuff is.
Okay. We've tracked the Great Jagras enough
Excuse me.
for the scout flies to lead us to it.
There we go. They just leveled up. And there's multiple tiers of it. Like I said, that little meter had 3 tiers. But then once you get back to camp, I'll look into them. You know, I'll do another episode on the research level. But there's like the one out here has 3 levels, and then when you get back to base, there's another one that has like 6 different levels, and each one of those levels has 3 levels in it. So like you need to get it up really high, because it also tells you other information. It doesn't just tell you where they're at. It tells you like what they're weak to, what items they have. It's very important to do. These cool little bugs here are actually a warning system when they're just lazily flying around and they're kind of like the pale blue, greenish color. It means everything around is safe. If they're turning yellow, that means a monster either is coming or just came by. If they turn red, it means there's a monster in the area. And you see on my map, because I leveled up my research level, or my investigation level, whatever, the Jagras is now actually on the map. I can see where he is. Make sure there's nothing else important around here. Nitro shroom. It's used for gunpowder, or if you use long-range weapons, bows and stuff like that. So this little spot we're going into, you want to pay attention to your environment as you go around, because there's environmental stuff you can use. Oh, the Jagras is leaving, so now it's pointless. Because if I was faster, you see that big rock right there, I could have dropped that down on top of the Jagras.
Less likely to lose sight of a monster if you use
he's still there. He hasn't left, so let's try and get his attention.
Land your claw on a monster to grapple to it.
Yep, see, I aggroed him. Lost my connection to the internet. That's fine. Go away. Go away. I didn't hit it. There it goes. It's a good way to start the fight. You can drop it down on him and deal a good bit of damage. The Jagras is really easy. He's like the punching bag of the world.
Dodge their attacks. Don't forget to use guard, too. Watch out when a monster's enraged. Better to hold off on your claw.
Now, if you look down the map, you can see different icons. Or you can see the monster, and you can see an icon next to him. It's like a U shape.
See?
Oop, I was trying to transform. It's too slow. It's like a U shape. It's flashing. It's actually on his eyeball. If you look at it, it'll give you information about him. Right now, when it's red like that, he's enraged. When he's enraged, it's really hard to grapple onto him with your clutching with your claw. You're better off just not trying to grab onto him and just fighting him. You can still mount him, but it's just not easy to do it with your clutch claw. Another bone pile. So after you're done fighting them, you want to look around, make sure you didn't miss any resources he might have dropped. Make sure there's nothing in the area you want to get, like a footprint or anything like that, or like that bone pile. There's no plants or flowers you want to gather from. So we beat him up pretty good there. He's not going to be, I don't think he's at death's door, but I don't think he's going to be alive too much longer. And this is a common part of the hunt, is they will just straight up turn and run away from you. Sometimes you hit them once and they're gone. Sometimes you can beat on them for a while and then they'll leave. The cave system on the Ancient Forest is a really good place to go through. It's easy to gather a lot of resources. Here's a mining outcrop. Ooh, I just got a special item. Light crystal, very nice. Up here's a bone pile, but there's bone piles and there's mining nodes all throughout the cave system. There's also honey and bugs and stuff like that. It's very, very useful for, see, a flash bug. That's very important. They're very useful for getting resources. The flash bug is used only to make flash pods, and flash pods are very useful for blinding the enemies. I believe. Oh no, I didn't cover that. Oh no, I did cover it in a previous episode. Yeah, against the small Jagras, you can use them to blind the creatures. If it's a flying creature, you can actually use a flash pod to knock them out of the sky. Right over here is a spider web that's used for crafting traps. You need a spider web and ivy to make a net to make a pitfall trap. Typically, I don't make pitfall traps because it requires more resources and more time to make, whereas the thunder trap or the shock trap only requires two resources. Which way am I going? Now, typically, when you start fighting a monster, you don't want to give them too much time. You want to stay on top of them and chase after them as fast as possible, because then they'll be able to go off and eat and regain a little bit of health, or mainly regain their stamina. If they've run away, it means they're close to death. If you let them sleep, they actually regain health, a good bit of health and stamina. So you have to fight them and beat them down again. So you're just making the fight much harder on yourself. Now, I'm explaining some things, so I'm not too worried about it. And also, it's just a Jagras. He's not that hard of a fight. Another good way to start off a fight is with the clutch claw. If you hold L2 and press circle, you fire it and you can latch onto them. And then you can use circle to change the direction. And then you use R2 to fire your slinger ammo. So watch. You want to fire them into a wall. Yeah, turn them with circle, fire R2. You see it stagger them and knock them over. That's another really good way to start a fight. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well. You can see he's dropped a bunch of items. He's actually close to death now. So my positioning there wasn't good for the super amped elemental discharge, but it's no big deal. See? I might have been able to kill him with it if I positioned it better, but whatever.
Okay, let's head back and report to the old man.
So, as you fight them, they'll drop resources. The red one is slinger ammo. The white one is actual material. You want to gather the white ones. That will despawn and disappear from the world. The red ones, they'll stay. They're usually piercing pods. Piercing pods are really good for helping weakens. Yeah, you do have a time limit. You do need to gather from them. I think I talked about it before. When you're gathering, you're safe from being attacked. So just gather as much as you want. But don't take your time doing it. Use the extra time. You can kill those Jagras and gather the resources from them. Or if there's another mining nodes around, gather from those. And there we go. Our first real true hunt. And hopefully with the items we got, once we get back, be able to forge a good set. Because while the Jagras isn't hard, he actually has good weapon set for early game. And like I said, you need the Kestodon parts to craft another set.
I think we got a lead.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check it out. Hey. Well, you were right. There's our mark. Something's got him agitated. Look over there. What in the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it.
You think it's from Zora Magdaros?
I'd like to find out. But we better report back first. All right?
All done. Go ahead and take everything, because whatever it is, I mean, it somewhat matters, but it doesn't matter. We need it all at this point. So my Palico gathered, level up stuff. Palico level 3! Almost level 4, wow. If you haven't earned any of the trophies yet, at this point you'll earn a trophy. It's for the right to take 1 2-star assignments. Yeah, just the story one. Each time you increase your rank up until high rank, I think, or maybe even while in high rank, you get a trophy for being able to take on the new or the next tier of mission. And I believe the next mission is where I'm actually going to start covering, because this said Palico gadget increased, and I still haven't really gone over that, and I will, but it's going to be more relevant later when I have actual other stuff to show off, so I think I'll cover it then. But yeah, the Palico got you get that gadget leveled up, which was useful.
I see.
I'm sorry, almost leveled up, which was useful. Yep. Alright, so...
Want to get going?
Camp is set up. You can go after that Puke.
I wonder where the resource center is.
So the next story mission is actually a expedition, and expeditions typically aren't story missions. The point of this one is to show off expeditions and how they work. So I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. When we come back, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. We're going to talk to people, introduce a new cute little character, and I think I'm going to do a little tutorial or guide on the resource center. So thanks for... Oh, no, wait. I want to show off. Yeah, I want to show off. I'll do this at the end of every mission. Check out the workshop. Because like I said, we should be able to craft new armor and new weapons.
That reminds me.
So after this mission, he'll give you a mission you can do, learning the clutch claw. It's very useful because it literally lets you practice the clutch claw. I think you can do it repeatedly, and it's against the great Jagras in the arena. I highly recommend you do it. Using the clutch claw is very simple, but trying to remember all the button prompts in the heat of the moment can get pretty hectic. It's really that's a good mission to do. So I was saying not to get too deep into crafting armor earlier because of this. Each time you fight a new mission, and even some of the endemic life, you unlock new armor sets. Right here we have the Jagras armor set now. The Jagras armor set is now rank 8. So if you were to go through and craft some of this other stuff, and if you're just trying to blow through and you only care about the higher damage numbers, then yeah, I guess Jagras is now a upgrade you can use. But it has some useful skills: speed eating, intimidator, Palico rally, fortify, and speed crawler. The most useful one is fortify. That's if you faint or during a hunt, or anytime you faint, because even it works during an expedition too. When you come back, you're stronger. You have a higher. It gives you a defense and attack boost. At this point, not as useful, but later in the game when you're fighting some of the monsters where you will cart a couple times or faint a couple times, it's much more useful. Palico rally, that increases your Palico's level. Nice, but not really special in any way. Intimidator, that makes it so small monsters are less likely to attack you. Early on, not that big of a deal. Later in the game, a bigger deal, because some of the endemic life are very aggressive, and they will get you carted. They won't cart you, but they'll hit you in the middle of your attack, stun you, knock you over, leaving you vulnerable to a huge attack from a monster and get you carted. And then speed eating, which that's pretty useful. Not something I would rely on or really use, but it's useful. It lets you eat potions faster and stuff like that. Now, like I said, the Kestodon is the one we wanted. It has an armor rating of 12, and it has affinity sliding. Affinity sliding is anytime you slide down a hill, you get a boost to your affinity. Your affinity is how you crit. I believe it's a 30% bonus. Yeah. It increases your affinity by 30% for a short time, and it says a short time, but it's actually like 30 to 40 seconds. Like it's a good bit of time. Now once it triggers, if you slide again, you don't reset it. It's that it has to cool down, or it has to go through its countdown, and then you can activate it again. It doesn't just keep activating over and over and over. But it's a very useful skill to have. Increasing your affinity by 30% is pretty big. And the armor rating is really high, so it's something you want to craft. No matter what your armor set, what weapon you use, or how your play style, it's something you want. Especially because in the ancient forest, there's a lot of places with hills. So it's what you want. Like I said, if you want to craft the Jagras set, that's up to you. Personally, I'm not going to use any of it. The bone set is more useful. The only exception I would make to using the Kestodon gloves is if you're using a blunt weapon like the hammer or the horn, because of Slugger. Slugger increases stun damage, which blunt weapons do. So 1 point of Slugger isn't that big of a deal, but it could be enough at this early point to really help out. I'm not sure. I've never really used the blunt weapons. The hammer, while it has some cool moves, it's kind of boring to me. And the horn, I do not care about the horn at all. It looks like I understand the point of it, and it can be used right. It's pretty cool, but to me it's a dumb weapon. I have no interest in it, so I don't care about Horn Maestro. And then Entomologist is useful. That helps you gather extra. Oh wait, no, this is the. Oh, sorry, it was something else. When you attack insects, it increases the chance of them leaving a bug, which isn't that big of a deal. If anything, I'd prefer speed crawling over that. But I'm not going to craft any of the... Yeah, because I would prefer Fortified Speed Crawling over Entomologist and Horn Maestro. But I'm not going to craft the Jagras set, because you should be able to upgrade a weapon. Oh, I need one more great Jagras scale. So, yeah, let's go ahead and level up my bone. So... Equip now, no. So now... Oh, we don't have access to the third tier, just the Jagras. I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought I could see, or do them for a second. But yeah, so now the Jagras, while the Jagras isn't that hard of an enemy, his weapon set is fairly decent. If you look at his sharpness compared to the bone set, it has a lot more green. And it has less yellow, but more importantly, it has less orange and less red. So it has much better sharpness, even compared to what I'm using now. It has better sharpness. It has more yellow, a lot more yellow. So the Jagras is an all-around improvement. Not to mention, it deals a lot more damage. For most melee weapons at this point, the Great Jagras the Jagras tree is good. Once you get access to more monsters, it won't be as useful. But the Jagras is a good all-around weapon for most builds, for most weapons and stuff. I'm not sure about bows and everything. I've never really messed with, or the guns. I've never really messed with those. They just seem boring to me. I know that they are overpowered. I've seen videos of people using them, and with the right build, you can do devastating damage in seconds. Like, take a savage tempered monster from full health to capturable in like 50, 60 seconds. Like, it's insane how much damage you can put out with it. But the weapon itself is just boring to me, so I don't like using it. But for most melee weapons, like I said, the Jagras is really, really good for starting off. At this point, the only thing that will outdo it is the Defender weapon. Better sharpness, higher damage, and blast. It's ridiculously powerful. But I'm not gonna use the defender. I'm gonna work my way up through it normally. So I'm gonna use the Jagras, but I need one more great Jagras scale, unfortunately. So I'll have to hunt him out to get another one. Which I might actually show off investigations if I have any. I'll get on that in a minute, or the next episode. But anyways, that was that. That was Kestodon, Kerfuffle, and what was that mission called? Kestodon, Kerfuffle, and the Great Jagras Hunt. That was those two missions. So, hope you found it useful, and I'll see you next time.